G'day, this is Simon at South OC Cars and Coffee. I'm with Alex, who is no stranger to Car of the Week. You brought an amazing Miura, you brought that amazing Renault Turbo, and today you got something special as well. What is it, mate?
It's a 1956 Ferrari 410 Superamerica.
There's a lot of words in there, but this car is so cool. In fact, you had it here last week, and I thought for some reason we'd made this Car of the Week before. Then when I went home and checked, I hadn't. I went, oh no, but you brought it back, which I'm really glad about. This thing is cool. Some great provenance. Check it out. This is a pretty car. When you think Ferrari, you think beautiful lines, and they really don't come much more beautiful than this, do they? This is spectacular. How did you end up to owning this car, Alex?
Well, I always wanted a nice looking Ferrari, an older Ferrari, and Tom Shaughnessy had one. And you know, that's what it was. So I went up to Tom. Actually, he came up to me and he said, you know, you've always been looking for a nice car. I have one. If you want, you know, you can have it. So, you know, we made a deal and here it is.
Here it is. And for those that don't know Tom, he's a regular to our show and he's got one of the finest car collections. In the time that I've known him, he's rung me up and said, hey, come over to my place, I want you to see something. And it would be this $500,000 RS200 Ford Evo rally car. Another time it's a 1953 Ferrari that was built for the 1952 New York Auto Show. Then it's things like Allards, all sorts of strange stuff. That man has such an eclectic collection. You know that if Tom owns it, the car's got to be worth owning, correct?
Exactly.
Which is great. Well, as we come in, the first thing I want to point out, apart from this beautiful blue colour, is that the original colour, do you know?
This is the original colour.
Yeah, and we talked about it earlier. The car was probably resprayed back in the 70s, but
yes,
the colour is spectacular. There's something down on the hood, and I hope the camera picks it up because we've got to get in close. You can see some Chinese lettering and also this little symbol here. That was for the original owner of this car, correct?
Yes.
And let's talk about that. Indo-Chinese diplomat or someone.
It's the Emperor of Indochina owned this car.
Incredible. And he was in exile, I believe?
He was in exile in Paris. So at the time when they built these cars, they built them specifically to heads of states and people who were very influential or dear to the factory,
right?
The Ferrari factory. So they were handpicked and you know, given these cars. So this car, I think they only built 16 of these.
Wow.
This is a Series 1 410 Superamerica. They built 16 of them, and between all the three series, I believe 35, 36 maybe.
Wow, that's incredible. I mean, the lines on the car are just magnificent, and there's a good reason for that. When we look down here and we see that badge on the side, that means that you're going to see a beautiful looking car. Just details like the side of this thing, it's just magnificent, those incredible wire wheels. And then the interior, let's have a look in there because that's kind of special as well. I can't imagine what it would have been like driving around in this car when it was brand new, but that leather, and one of the things you mentioned, while the outside has been resprayed back in the 70s, the inside, the interior is all original, isn't it?
Exactly. Yes.
Look at that beautiful, beautiful steering wheel with the wooden rim and those classic 1950s gauges. You know, it's funny, you look at gauges back from the 1950s, it doesn't matter whether you're looking at a Ferrari or a Chev 3100 truck, all the gauges kind of looked very similar at the time, didn't they?
Yes, they did.
Manufacturers hadn't really started evolving their look into things like that, but this is just, I mean, it's just so wonderful that it's still got that patina and has that look about this particular car. It's just wonderful the way that the obviously one's the blinkers or the indicators. What's on the other side? The other headlights. And you said this car has a unique option as well, correct? Something to do with the steering wheel too?
Actually, I just found out, somebody pointed it out to me. It's got telescopic steering wheel.
Okay,
which I didn't know.
Well, hey, aren't you glad you brought it to the show today?
Yes, exactly.
That's great. Just little things like the little details on this light over here as we come around the back. that the Ferrari emblem in here, but also once again that logo, if we can get up in there, of the car. The quad pipes, it's really special, and there's something special under the hood as well. Let's talk about that V12. Tell me what you know about it.
Well, it's a Lampredi motor, 410. It's one of the biggest engines Ferrari made at the time. It's been completely restored, redone, rebuilt by Bill Attaway in San Diego, and I think he did an amazing job with it. It runs perfect.
It's just beautiful. I mean, look at those three carbs down underneath, and the way the hoses were done. You know, what's interesting is the way Ferrari were building things, even back in the 50s, was a lot more reminiscent of marine quality installations, wasn't it?
Right.
The way fuel lines were done, the way everything was plumbed and directed, and all the wiring. In marine, it's always been this assumption that you had to do it without compromise, same as aeronautical stuff. And Ferrari were always doing the similar sort of thing. Everything they did was, thinking about getting the best performance and reliability. Look at the two distributors, for example, underneath there as well. Everything about this car is really special, mate. It's absolutely incredible. Doesn't matter what angle you're on, the roof, the side, everything. Our very deserving Car of the Week winner, and as such, you get this Maguire's complete kit, including the hot shine foam, the quick interior detailer, the perfect clarity glass cleaner, ultimate wash and wax, hybrid ceramic detailer, and the microfiber towel. You can keep this car and all your other cars in the great condition that they are in, mate. Thank you again for bringing this out, and congratulations.
Thank you.